with the Liberation News Update. Here are the longest running and slowest running news team in modern history, river and town.
No, Donnie. It's not raining. No bombs either. It's okay for you to go outside. Yes, and the troops will protect you from the drug-dealing, rapist, Iranian, Central American refugee criminals. Yeah, I promise. Well, yeah, sure, you can send Melania out first. She'll probably enjoy the chance to get out. What? What? No, Mr. Resident. I don't want to be your chief of staff. Listen, I gotta go. Gotta go. Bye, Mr. Resident. Bye.
Welcome to the news.
All the news that's fit to eat.
First up in the news, we have a report from one of the refugee caravans at the border.
On the Tijuana side of the U.S.-Mexico border today, mayhem. First, it was dozens of Central American migrants racing toward the U.S. border. Then it seemed there were countless. At times overrunning Mexican authorities in riot gear, climbing their way forward somehow. And no, that's not the U.S. on the other side, but it's close. In return, pushback from the American side was swift. U.S. military helicopters buzzed overhead as it appeared some migrants attempted to breach the border.
Word now is that President Donald Trump has commissioned his science czar to create a new gas that makes refugees disappear. Not long ago, some was released at the border. As we see here, as of now, it seems to only affect shoes.
There is another immigrant caravan of refugees trying to escape violence, discrimination, and unjust laws. This caravan, attempting to enter Canada from the United States, is looking to enjoy the freedoms of the North Country, including Canada's new marijuana laws. Here are a few refugees now. What brings you here to the border?
I'm a subspecies of contractor working for President Trump. We're here to build his wall. And we're here to make America great again. I have a hammer. I have a bell. I have a song to sing. What brings you here to the border?
Yeah, I'm looking for Abraham Zukov and Tony the Shrimp Milano. What's the matter with you, Dick? Why are you coming to Canada?
I'm not a crook. I don't care what they said. All of them. They're all conspiring against me. Yes. What brings you here to the border?
I'm just doing my job. I'm part of the city council, and I'm here to make sure that all of us get our share of the goods. So I'm going to take care of business, and I expect all good Americans to take care of business. And just remember, you are American.
Sister, what are you doing here at the border?
I'm escaping. We all have to escape. I'm personal friends with the Von Trapps, and we've got to get away from the Nazis. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, come to Canada. Come to Canada. Other benefits of Canadian citizenship include cradle-to-grave health care, support for unions, a higher living standard, and far less violent crime.
This just into our newsroom. We've just gotten word that aliens are not just on the border, but they've been sighted right outside your door.
Breaking news, this just in. President Trump has just attacked Judge Judy, claiming she is prejudiced against patriotic American citizens, particularly older, white, male, rich guys. Senator Lindsey Graham issued a statement that he agrees.
How could that be? My party is going bat crazy.
Nancy Drew Pelosi promises to investigate.
Let's hear it more for pre-existing medical conditions.
Our beloved President Trump was unable to fully participate in honoring the fallen soldiers at Veterans Day services in France and the United States due to his recurring bone spur condition, which has kept him out of Vietnam. In international local news, substitute Senate Bill 250 was pushed by friends of the oil and gas industry as the Ohio State Assembly session was ending. All this bill does is change a number of misdemeanor crimes often associated with demonstrations into felonies that can follow a person for the rest of their lives. The bill as it has been pushed in other states, is designed to protect primarily the fracking industry from citizens are demanding oversight and reasonable community-based restrictions. Competing with this bill were the Heartbeat Bill, which curtails women's rights over their own body and is sure to be overturned in court, and the Stand Your Ground Bill, which puts African-American men in danger of being murdered by nervous white guys.
Breaking news, this just in. National journalist Dana Milbank has elected to defend the president against accusations that Mr. Trump does not support children. Milbank says that though people were shocked at toddlers being tear-gassed at the border last month, the military was just protecting itself from a vast army of pipsqueaks lacking potty training and running dangerously low on clean diapers. The use of tear gas instead of live ammo was in fact an act of love.
Milbank says Trump showed more love when he tore 2,000 children from their parents and had them housed in makeshift barracks. Mr. Trump was showing compassion, protecting these children from the dangers associated with attachment parenting and co-sleeping, including accidental suffocation. Don't smire me, don't smire me.
Likewise, the resident's attempt to cut CHIP, the Children's Health Insurance Program, should be seen as an incentive to follow best practices by keeping children from unnecessary doctor's visits. And of course, his effort to cut food stamps for kids will increase their health, since according to studies, there is zero chance that children will suffer obesity if they don't have food to eat. It's good that Mr. Milbank has straightened us all out on this.
Word now is that Ivanka Trump is to be named White House Chief of Emails. As part of her preparation, she is said to have created the Hillary Clinton Memorial Server to process all top-secret documents and to make some fashionable 3D tops.
As the Republican Senate and some courts continue to try to destroy the Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare, and the protection for pre-existing conditions, Nancy Pelosi and the new young leadership team had something to say.
Let's hear it more for pre-existing medical conditions.
In our science report, this year the United States has experienced historic fires, particularly in the California forests, with scores of deaths and hundreds of billions of dollars in damages.
You're watching from New York or you're watching from Washington, D.C., and you don't really see the gravity of it. I mean, as big as they look on the tube, you don't see what's going on until you come here. And what we saw at Pleasure, what a name right now. But what we just saw, we just left Pleasure. Paradise. Or Paradise. And what we just saw at Paradise is just, it's just not acceptable. I'm committed to make sure that we get all of this cleaned out and protected. We got to take care of the floors, the floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem.
Rake Finland great again.
Secretary Pompeo officially announced that the United States will pull out of the nuclear arms treaty with Russia. Old hero Dick Cheney and arms investors are checking their stocks.
Russia has not, unfortunately, honored the agreement, so we're going to terminate the agreement. We're going to pull out.
How could that be? My party is going bat crazy.
Here are people yet to be indicted in the Mueller probe.
We know as 2018 was ending, American car giant General Motors announced the closing of the Lordstown plant in Ohio and others in Michigan and Wisconsin. In response, President Trump says the plants will be reopened to manufacture parts of the Great Wall, which will then be put together at the border by bankrupt soybean farmers.
Our next president, Sherrod Brown, says we're going to continue to lose jobs because the Republican tax cut has created half-price coupons for all corporations by allowing them to pay lower taxes on profits made in other countries. So may all your news be good news.
And every child get a new pair of shoes.
How could that be? My party is going bat crazy.